Hey, how's it going? This is part 3 of my comic book collection. This will be the trades and hardbacks edition. And this will probably be more than one part, because if you can look on my floor here, there's quite a big couple stacks here. So, I'll probably split this up into a couple parts. Okay, so let's get started. Oh yeah, and this right here, this is Watchmen by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons. Probably my favorite graphic novel of all time. I love it. It's awesome. I want to see the movie. I haven't seen the movie yet. And I showed this to you in my previous video. This is Batman the Man Who Laughs. Haven't read it yet. Looking forward to it. This is Batman and Robin, Batman Reborn by Grant Morrison, Frank Whiteley, and Philip Tan. Read this. I very much enjoyed it. There's new villains in it, like Professor Pig and the Flamingo. I enjoyed it. Chris Claremont and John Byrne, X-Men, The Dark Phoenix Saga. I got about 2 issues into it, and then something held me back from reading the rest of it. I definitely plan on reading the rest of it because I hear great things about it. A graphic novel with very positive reviews from what I hear. Alright, this is Marvel Universe vs. The Punisher by Jonathan Mayberry and Gordon Parloff. I did read this. It's about various Marvel characters are catching an infection that makes them crave human flesh and makes them like a living, breathing zombie. And Punisher has to exterminate them. I read that. Very enjoyable. Somewhat gory, but several comics are, so what else is new? Alright, this is Batman The Dark Knight Returns, another one of my all-time favorites by the genius of Frank Miller. Just awesome. I love his artwork too. It's cartoony and has an edge of realistic to it too as well. So, yeah. This isn't really a trade or anything like that. This is a Batman from the 40s to the 70s. So you got your Detective Comics number 27 in here. And you got your Batman number 1, various Detective Comics. Stuff like that. Very nice. And on a similar note, this is Batman Chronicles Volume 1, which has every Batman story. This is Volume 1, of course. It's not going to have every Batman story in here, but this is most of the 40s and stuff like that, when Bob Kane and Bill Finger were doing the writing and art, and Jerry Robinson. This is Batman Bruce Wayne Murderer, or Bruce Wayne gets framed for murder. Every man has a breaking point. Bruce Wayne has just reached his. I read this, but it was about 4 years ago when I was a freshman in high school, so I'm going to try to maybe refresh my memory on that when I can. Here's a sequel to The Dark Knight Returns. Batman The Dark Knight Strikes Again. Frank Miller again. Awesome artwork, awesome story. Not as critically acclaimed as the first graphic novel, but I still liked it quite a bit. Alright, this is Marvel Visionary Stan Lee. Various Stan Lee stories in here from World War II era with Captain America and the Red Skull all the way up to the 80s when he would occasionally write stories. Neat stuff in here. You got Daredevil, Captain America, Spider-Man, the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Thor, you name it. Got a little bit of everything in that. Alright, this is The Walking Dead. This is what spawned the TV series, and some of the most diehard Walking Dead TV show fans don't even know that The Walking Dead started as a comic book, which irritates me somewhat. But I got a few issues into this, and I definitely plan on reading the rest of that, because I watch this TV show pretty frequently. I enjoy it. As I have been saying, I am a Sergio Aragonés fan. Here's Boogeyman. A story about how everyone has their own personal boogeyman, and it tries to stop them from accomplishing something they want to do, or holds them back from trying to accomplish something, and it gets the best of them sometimes if they don't overcome it. Black and white, but I love the artwork, love the story. What's not to love about Sergio Aragonés? Carrying on with Sergio Aragonés, Grew Hell on Earth. I've read a little bit. I haven't read it all. The binding on this book is very poor by Dark Horse. I got it from Amazon. As soon as I touched it, it pretty much the spine pretty much fell off. I mean, it's still readable. Most of the pages are still stuck together, and it's still readable, but the spine is completely detached, and I just don't think it was very well put together. But it's still readable, and I plan on reading it. And trust me, I do not slam my books around and stuff like that. I try to take care of my books as best as I can. So it really was not my fault, and I'm being sincere when I say that. Alright, this is another Sergio Aragonés, The Grue Library, from the early 90s. Grue the Wanderer. Awesome. See, this book is 15 years older than the other one, and it's still perfectly intact. The Invincible Iron Man, World's Most Wanted, Book 1, by Matt Fraction and Salvador Larroca. I've heard good things about it, so I'm definitely going to read that. Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, Batman Haunted Knight. I read that, enjoyed it very much. A lot of these things I did read a long time ago, and I can't really give a frame-by-frame detail of what happened, so I try to refresh my memory by looking back at them, which is what I'm intending to do with that one. And if I like it as much as I remember I did when I read it the first time, I might review it. This isn't a comic book, but this is classic Marvel superheroes, the story of Marvel's mightiest. I got the history of Spider-Man, Captain America, Incredible Hulk, and Wolverine, I believe. Yes, Wolverine. This is The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, 1969, or Century 1969, by Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill. I started reading it, then kind of shut it real quick because the content is pretty graphic and sexually, I mean, and it's just I found myself. I mean, it just made me feel awkward, but I mean, I know it has a purpose, and for the reason that it's included, I can appreciate it, because Alan Moore is not going to put it in there for the sake of making it extremely sexual. He's trying to prove a point, so I can appreciate it in that sense. It's just when I started reading it, I felt a little weird, but I'm gonna give it another chance eventually. This is Daniel X, Alien Hunter, a graphic novel by James Patterson, based off of the books that he wrote about Daniel X. I haven't read much of this. I've read a few pages, but I like the illustrations quite a bit, and I plan on getting back to it. This is another League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Black Dossier, by Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill. This one isn't as graphic. It's still got a little bit of stuff in it, and I got a little bit more in depth with this one, and I remember enjoying it. A lot of this stuff, like I said, I've already read, and it's just I have to refresh my memory about it, so I couldn't really tell you much about it. This is Batman: The Long Halloween. By Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb. I really like Tim Sale's artwork, and I remember a little bit about this one. I remember Two-Face and the Joker and Catwoman being in it. It's been a while since I've read these. Like I said, I know I say that over and over, and I know that's getting a little cliche, but it's been a while since I've read these. And don't don't think that I haven't read them, because I have, and I'll give you my word on that. It's just, I'm going to refresh my memory on some of them. If I like them, I'll do a review later on. This is Artemis Fowl, the graphic novel. This was like a Christmas present from when I was 12. Never read it. But I mean, if I get bored, I'll read it sometime. It seems quite interesting. I mean, I think I could find it enjoyable. Got a few graphic novels by one of my favorite artists as well. Doug TenNapel. This is Cardboard. Have not read this one, but I have read the other ones in my stack. I love his style of artwork. I just think it's awesome. Going back to when I said this video might be separate parts, change of plans. This is probably going to be the only part I do, because I'm going through this stack fairly quickly. This is Tommysaurus Rex by Doug TenNapel as well, where a boy loses his dog and then finds a dinosaur in a cave and adopts him as his own pet. Not going to spoil that one. If you want to read it, go check it out. Go buy it. It's awesome. This is Doug TenNapel, Gear. This has the cats in it that were the inspiration for the characters on Cat Scratch. Gordon, Waffle, Mr. Blick. There's this whole standoff between cats and dogs, I think, if I remember correctly. And it was quite enjoyable for me to read. This is Bad Island by Doug TenNapel, where this family is having a getaway and they're setting sail on the sea, and then there's shipwrecks, and then they get stuck on this island, and then they encounter a bunch of really, really creepy things that don't want them being there. So yeah, I enjoyed that as well. This is a Marvel 70th Anniversary Collection. 70 years of Marvel Comics. Got a little bit of everything from like the first Submariner comic all the way up to Ultimate Spider-Man and whatnot. And like the death of Captain America. Very interesting. I like it. Mysteries in Space. Best of DC science fiction comics. I bought this off of one of the teachers that used to teach at my high school. Was getting rid of some of his comics, so I bought it. This is Batman Year One. Awesome, awesome, awesome. A classic. Frank Miller and his genius writing. Anything by Frank Miller I found I enjoy. And we got a 3-part series of graphic novels here. I've got all 3 Nightfall stories. Batman Nightfall Part 1, Broken Bat, where Bane and Batman fight, and if you're a true comic fan, you pretty much know what happens. And these 3 were large inspirations for The Dark Knight Rises. This is Batman Nightfall Part 2, Who Rules the Night, where Jean-Paul Valley takes Bruce Wayne's place as Batman, changes the costume totally, and just totally has a different attitude than Bruce Wayne does when it comes to Batman. This is Part 3, Night Sim, where Bruce Wayne is on the recovery and wants the mantle of the Bat back, and he fights Jean-Paul Valley to get it. Got a few more here. This is a newer version of Will Eisner's Spirit. The Spirit. It's not by Will Eisner, but it's a relaunch by Sergio Aragonis and Mark Evanier. I mean, Aragonis didn't do the artwork, but he wrote it. This is Spawn Origins Collection, Volume 10. Collecting issues 57 through 62. Very nice. This is Gerard Way and Gabriel Ball, The Umbrella Academy, Dallas. Tongue-tied. It's about a group of superheroes, and if you can tell by the title, it deals with the JFK assassination. Changing anything at all in the journey through time, space, and Vietnam, climaxing with the assassination of JFK. Yeah. I read that a long time ago, and I remember enjoying that very much so. I remember there were these 2 gunmen that were total lunatics that had like puppy masks on, and they end up like blowing their brains out because they're so crazy. It was weird. JLA Year 1. World's Greatest Superheroes, How the JLA, Justice League came to be. Have not read it, but very much looking forward to reading it. So yeah, as of right now, that is all my trades. Next video will probably be my Mad magazine collection. I have quite an array of Mad magazines and collections of articles from Mad magazine. So stay tuned. That will be up shortly. Thanks for watching.